Hi friends, it's me, Desiree. Today we're going to play a game that I'm calling Name It. So I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to think of all the things that you can come up with, all right? There's no right or wrong here. Just try to keep your mind open. So our first question, past or present, name a famous wall. What is a famous wall? Can you name one? What about the Great Wall of China? Or the Berlin Wall? The Vietnam Wall? Or the Wailing Wall? Right? Those are all famous walls. Next one. Name your favorite soap opera. Name your favorite soap opera. My mother used to watch soap operas all the time, every day. Let me name some off for you. There's General Hospital, Young and the Restless, All My Children, Days of Our Lives, Passions, One Life to Live, Bold and the Beautiful, and Guiding Light. All right, next question. Where would you look to find out how old someone is? A lot of times it's hard to tell someone's age, but there are places and things to look for to kind of gauge how old someone might be. What are those things? You could look at their license, right, in their wallet. You can look at their hands. Sometimes we can tell by the hands how old someone might be. We could look at their birth certificate, right? Maybe you can look at someone's eyes and kind of tell their age. You could ask their family members, right, how old someone is. Or you can simply just ask them, how old are you? All right. Tell me something people have a hard time closing. What is a hard thing to close? What are some things that are hard to close? What about our mouth, right? Sometimes people have a hard time closing their mouth. What about a suitcase, right? Have you ever packed your suitcase so full that you couldn't close it? I'm guilty of that. I've laid down over them to try to zip them shut. What about closing a door? Some doors are hard to close now or open. So I've had doors where you had to lift it up and then open it, right? What about a jar or a bottle, like the lid, right? Sometimes they're really tight or hard to close or open. And sometimes it's hard to close a good book, right? All right. Our next question. Name something dogs do when riding in a car. What are things that dogs do in the car? Right? Sometimes they'll sit on your lap, right? Sometimes they lay down. Other times, if you roll your window down, they'll stick their head out the window, right? What about barking? Will a dog bark in the car? Sure. They sleep sometimes, right? Oftentimes dogs will pant in the car, or sometimes they might throw up if they get car sick. All right. Next question. Name something you might watch through binoculars. What are some things that you're looking at when you have binoculars in your hands? What are things that you're checking out? You might watch birds or animals through binoculars. You might have binoculars on hand at a sporting event. You might be watching other people or your neighbors with binoculars. Don't they call those peeping toms? You could look at the stars and do stargazing with binoculars. Or you could have a pair of binoculars at an opera or theater. All right. Name someone famous, real or fictional, named Mother. Oh man, can you think of anybody or any characters, famous characters that have the name Mother in them, in their name? What about Mother Goose? Mother Goose. Mother Teresa. Mother Love. Mother Hubbard. Or Mother Nature. All right. Name an animal that people ride. What's an animal that people actually ride on? Of course, people have been riding on horses for centuries, right? A horse. What about camels? Camels. You can ride a camel. You can ride a donkey. You could ride a mule. In some countries, you could ride elephants. Lots of different animals that you can ride. I think people have ridden zebras even. All right. Name something on which you'd hate to see an out of order sign. Oh man, sometimes that's the worst thing you could ever see, right? You're in a rush, you're busy, you have places to go, people to see, and then there's an out of order sign blocking your way. What are some things that you might see a sign like that on? What about a bathroom? Like a public bathroom, it's out of order, you can't use it. What about the ATM machine? You have to desperately get some money and you can't get it out of that ATM, so you have to go somewhere else or find a bank. The payphone. Some of you might remember when we had payphones, right? And it was out of order. What about a stamp machine? Have you ever tried to order stamps and it was out of order? All right. Name a professional sports team named after a type of bird. Name a professional sports team named after a bird. There's a lot of them, isn't there? I played on a softball team called the Cardinals. But there's the Eagles, right? The Blue Jays, the Ravens, the Falcons, and the Hawks. What about the Ducks? Have you guys heard that? I've watched a movie with the Ducks in it. All right. Name something you see on the outside of a church. What are some things that you might see if you drive past a church right on the building, right outside? You might see a cross or a steeple. You could find stained glass, right? Or maybe you see a sign, a church name, or the service times, right? Those are all things you might see. Sometimes you might find that they have playgrounds even. All right. Name a country that is older than the United States. Name a country that is older than the U.S. What are some countries that you can think of on the top of your head? So we have England, right? England is older than the U.S. France, Spain, China, Germany, Ireland, right? What about Egypt? Egypt is a pretty old country. All right. Name something parents hope their son has done by the time he's 30. What are some things that we hope our children will have done by the time they're 30 years old? Maybe you would hope that your son, by the time he's 30, was married, right? Maybe you hope that he moved out already. Maybe you hope that your son, by the time he's 30, he's found a good job and a good career. Maybe you want to be a grandparent and you hope that he's had children. Or that he's finished his college degree, right? All right. Name a term that is used in a game of bowling. What are some bowling terms that you can think of? What are some words that we use when we relate to bowling? What about a strike? Isn't that the best thing that we could get? Not in baseball, but in bowling, you want a strike, right? What about a spare? What does a spare mean in bowling? It means you got them all down after all, right? On your second attempt. A bowling pin, right? Pin is a word when it comes to bowling. And turkey. Right. Name something in your house with 4 legs. What is some things in your house that has 4 legs? Look around. What about a table, right? A table has 4 legs. A pet, maybe? You have a dog, a cat. What about your chair? Your bed, right? What about your couch? Those all have 4 legs, right? Name something that one of the 5 little piggies did. What did the 5 little piggies do? Do you remember that? One went to the market. Another went wee wee home. One stayed home. One ate roast beef. And the other had none. All right. Name something to which some people love to give away the ending. Oh man. Have you ever tried to read a story or a book and somebody was just so anxious to tell you about how it ended? What about a movie? People love to give away the endings to a good movie, right? Or a joke, right? People will give away the ending to a joke or to a magic trick. Everybody always wants to know how they're done, right? And then it's not fun anymore. Speaking of magic, our next question. Name something magicians try to escape from. Magicians always put themselves in a scenario to which they have to escape or get away or get out of. What are some that you've seen? What are some ways that a magician has to try to escape? Maybe a trunk or a box, right? They've put themselves chained up, handcuffed, or put in a straitjacket in a trunk or a box. What about a water tank, right? Those are the dangerous ones to do. And then a cage, right? They have the handcuffs, the chains, those types of things that they can miraculously get out of. All right. Tell me something people in Florida do a lot more than people in Minnesota. All right. What are people in Florida doing that's different than someone in Minnesota? Think about Florida. What do they have there? I know for sure they've got those amusement parks in Florida. Lots of them, right? Lots of things to do. What about the beach? In Minnesota, they don't have a beach. They might have a lake, right? What about surfing and swimming? They have fresh oranges. In Florida, people go fishing a lot, right? At the coast especially. They're probably sweating a lot more than somebody who lives in Minnesota. And they're walking around in bathing suits in Florida. And there's summer clothes and they go golfing, right? There's lots to do in Florida. All right. Here's our next question. Name something people think is bad luck. Right? What's something people think is bad luck? What about walking over the crack on a sidewalk? Making sure you step over it, right? Or maybe the number 13 is unlucky to you. What are some things that are unlucky or bad luck? Have you ever heard the black cat? Yeah, black cats are considered unlucky or bad luck. Walking under the ladder is bad luck. Breaking a mirror is bad luck. What do they say? If you break a mirror, you're going to have how many years of bad luck? 7. Opening your umbrella indoors. It's bad luck. Don't do it. And seeing a black crow could indicate bad luck. A lot of those are old wives' tales, but we still think those things today. All right, here's our last question for today. Besides Thanksgiving, name a holiday when people eat too much. What are some other holidays besides Thanksgiving that people might eat too much? I know besides Thanksgiving, I celebrate Christmas a lot, and we usually have a grand meal. Easter, right? Easter dinner, big meal. What about 4th of July? Everyone's barbecuing. They used to do those block parties, right? Everybody put all the picnic tables out and the food and pop fireworks in the evening. And also Memorial Day. It's another day for barbecuing and eating out. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's game. We'll see you next time.